Targeted individual slash targeted survivor Dell here. Hope everyone's having a amazing Saturday evening. Today is November the 7th. It's probably like almost 9. It's almost 9 o'clock. I'm going to continue the read-through of Ron Johnson's Transhuman Genocide, Enemy at the Gate. We were on chapter 4, The Nightmare of Directed Energy Weapons. The video was getting pretty long last time, so I had to cut it a little short. We left off on page 111. And before I get started, I just want to, disclaimer alert, I am reading a book, and the ideas and beliefs that are read aloud by me are not mine own. I did not do this research to compile this evidence and put it in a book. This is for entertainment purposes only. Entertainment. So, with that being said, let's get started. Page 111. Energy weapon systems are well known for being able to attack every organ in the body, including the eyes, and so there is really no limit as to what can be affected. These weapons can mimic nearly any symptom, including nausea and bowel obstructions, and can cause nearly every disease. Those that have never been introduced to these ideas would never suspect that their afflictions are artificial in nature. That means you've probably already been targeted and thought it was just the way life goes. There are many other types of targeted of energy weapons to be concerned about in a siege-type environment. These weapons can fire beams or pulses, bullets, or flood your location with excessive levels of radiation. I think that's how they heat the room up, generally. Sometimes it feels like it's directly heating me up, but sometimes it could also be them heating my entire room up. The system can even lob in energy grenades that act as concussion grenades to flush you out or to test your defenses. 112. These advanced weapon systems are also known for torturing people for months or even years before killing victims. Reports from as far back as the year 2004, around the Second Iraq War period, have documented the use of automated energy weapons on civilians in the United States and in theaters of war, with the very first cases originating on the west coast of the United States. West side? These earlier weapons tortured people for years, but are now the process usually only lasts a few months. Fuck. I wish it only lasted a few months. It's been fucking 5 years for me. These advanced weapon systems are to be distinguished from other microwave attacks that were recorded way back before the 1970s. The advanced weapons of today are usually used in tandem with psychotronic weapons or synthetic telepathy or V2K, which, yes, I do experience all of that, to defeat an individual on every front. This technology appears to have been perfected during the war in Iraq and made insurgents surrender, thinking they were having a religious experience. Intrusions in your life, in your thought life, are expected to be with this technology. Intrusions in your thought life are to be expected with this technology, and its roots go as far back as the MK Ultra days. Page 113 is a rather terrifying image of vehicles on a bridge, the all-seeing eye, and above that, the next Rad 5G towers. Check this shit out. Absolutely terrifying. Those with no chip in the right lane, and the right lane is just packed shoulder to shoulder. Page 114. Some of the weapon systems that you are sure to encounter are known as gyrotrons, and ELF weapons. They're also some of the most dreaded energy weapons on the battlefield because of the way they hit their targets. Gyrotrons fire high-powered microwave beams that use circular wave patterns instead of regular wave patterns. These beams can become as wide as a human body, and the victim inside the beam pattern experiences a sensation similar to being inside a meat grinder. Oh, fuck. As the EMF rings of a gyrotron beam twists and turns, it grinds the victim as a unique form of torture as they lay in bed. Failure to shield effectively against these kinds of weapons is a fate far worse than death. ELF weapons, another type to be familiar with, make gyrotron weapons look like a cheap toy at the dollar store. Extremely low frequencies, or ELF, can penetrate mountains and oceans due to the physics of their propagation, even in their unweaponized form. Virtually nothing, and we do mean nothing, can stop them if they're being used as a weapon. That is a terrible image. I'm going to show you this image and then we'll continue reading 115. Like, what the fuck is this huge giant thing? They are the perfect bunker busting and shield busting weapons beside quantum based weapons. An ELF weapon will penetrate through lead and steel as if the shielding wasn't even there, while affecting everything in its path. ELF weapons are commonly mounted inside car or truck sized boring machines and operate like underground drones or torpedoes. 116. These tunneling drone systems drill horizontally and will drain underneath a target's home to irradiate them from underground. And nobody's expecting that, not even the most well-informed prepper. And that's the point. There are many similar variations of this concept that have been deployed as well that can snake ELF emitters or probes through sewers and pipes to reach a target's urban location. ELF mines have also been strategically placed in parks and other locations where the targets might seek refuge for safety. Much larger ELF platforms based in underground bunkers can hit targets on the surface as well. This technology has been scaled up for intercontinental warfare, meaning that an entire continent can be nuked with ELF in seconds and kill everything there while they sleep. ELF weapons, no matter the size, can kill very quickly even if moderate shielding is applied. Weaponized ELF primarily interfaces with cardiovascular system and can cause arrhythmia. I'm going to show you these images. The heart is regulated by natural electrical pulses, and ELF aims to interfere with that process. If you're experiencing heart palpitations while lying in bed, then you'll need to start shielding immediately. Otherwise, you'll end up with a pacemaker or a heart attack. The heart palpitations are not what you think they are in most cases. The natural electrical pulses that regulate the heart are highly susceptible to ELF attacks. On a personal level, my perpetrators have already stopped my heart entirely. At first, they slowed it down really slow, but at some point, they were able to record a naturally occurring arrhythmia that happened every now and then, even though it might not be natural. But at this point, I thought it was natural at that point, at least. They sent me on one really awful sleep deprived night over 180 arrhythmias just unnatural heartbeats that they recorded and repeated that over 180 times. I stopped counting after 180. At some point, my heart gave out and stopped entirely. Every now and then, that last heartbeat that my heart had, they'll play it back to me to torture me. And it just reminds me that they've already killed me. I'm already dead. Yeah. The first symptom of this type of attack is sleep apnea, which is then followed by arrhythmia. It takes a massive amount of shielding to mitigate these weapons during a siege, up to 5 inches of lead, plus an array of other shielding materials such as an inch of HDPE and another inch of grounded sheet metal must be positioned under the bed to stop these attacks. I do not know what HDPE is. Page 118. It's just an image of another tower. I've showed you a bunch of them already. Page 119. And that's just for starters. Even more shielding than that will be required if your bed is on the ground floor or in a basement, or as the weapon begins to tunnel closer to your location. The victim will definitely feel the concussion waves from these attacks and may even hear the sound of a diesel generator coming from underground. These attacks typically happen late at night when nobody can possibly come and investigate. Once the ELF weapon has been positioned underground, it typically uses a diesel generator as a power source to fire up at the target. Attacks generally happen while the target is stationary, such as in bed or sitting on the couch. The home becomes the perfect kill box because victims are forced to return there to sleep every night. In fact, attacking people while they sleep or as they sit is what the system does best and has become its standard operating procedure for most energy weapon attacks. Two things. That reminds me of a Vice video that was rather biased, in my opinion, that interviewed like a handful of targeted individuals. And there was a lady who was like voluntarily homeless. And she just had her whole life in a single rolling duffel bag and some other carry-on items. And she just moved every night. I wonder if it's because they might have put one of these giant ELF weapons in her sewer system or under her bed or her room and just fired at her constantly. And she was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm just going to keep moving and you're not going to hit me with that shit. Props to that lady. I wonder if she's doing okay. Yeah. While most targeting begins via attacks from cell towers and cell phones, the aim is to wear you out so that they can finish you off in your sleep with an ELF attack. That way it looks peaceful and natural and nobody asks too many questions. The only solution here is to apply military-grade shielding under the bed where you sit. And where you sit. I wish I had enough funds to purchase shielding. I'm currently unemployed. Well, I mean, I have a part-time job. I host trivia at a bar. But I have lost all other gainful employment. New vehicles with LED lights have been weaponized with microwave diode emitters that have been embedded in the front and rear lighting systems. These weapons can be directed with a high degree of accuracy even at high speeds. Software that is built in at the factory allows these new cars to automatically lock on to victims as soon as they get into range. This, of course, leaves the victim with the impression that they are being stalked wherever they go. In stop-and-go traffic, these weapons can become a real nightmare. Shielding and evasion are the best solutions for these types of weapons, but it's easy to get pinned down at intersections and tailgated by road ragers. Every scenario has been accounted for, even your regular commutes. Here's the image from page 121. Victims can be tracked by a conventional method such as phones, cameras, but the real problem is satellite, blimp, and drone-based biometric surveillance. We also, at this point, because this book was written, I don't remember, but it's probably some time ago, but also the street lights that have recently been put up in your neighborhoods also track you. The newer cameras in your neighborhoods also track you. Your tap to pay clovers and all of these other devices that you use on the daily basis also track you. These systems use vascular fingerprints to identify targets with technology similar to ground-penetrating radar. Once the system confirms your identity with its enhanced radar system, it perpetually tracks you in real time everywhere you go. And there is no shaking it. Countless people have tried, but all have failed. All? The system will rarely ever lose track of you and can always reacquire you as soon as you do something digital, or as soon as you go back to a known location. Even if you were able to dupe the system, Jason Bourne style, the surveillance grid is beyond redundant. Every microphone connected to the internet listens for wanted voices via voice recognition. Every CCTV camera will use facial recognition to look for you. License plate readers on the highway will flag your location. Every cell tower will be looking through walls trying to find you wherever you may go. Satellite records will go back in time to figure out where you might have gone. In worst case scenarios, the system will wait for you to use your digital ID, debit cards, or other known online accounts, and then it's right back to where you started. The possibility of nanotech trackers or smart dust cannot be excluded either at this stage. Don't fucking get me started on smart dust. What's important to understand here is that once you get flagged on social media, you become a target. They prioritize targets based on a social credit score system. Not every target gets beamed right away, but they will come after your job, your home life, and even audit you before they try and finish you off with energy weapon attacks. They need to ruin you and discredit you so that nobody will help you when they try to finish you off. Side note, and on that note, if you can, and you haven't already signed up for the digital ID, don't do it. Do not get the digital ID. Do not do it, okay? I've refused. I've flown recently. You can still fly without the digital ID, even though the deadline for having one has already passed. Don't do it. They're going to scare you into getting it. Don't let your loved ones get it either. That's my opinion. And apparently Ron Johnson's as well. Don't do it. As soon as they document everyone on the digital ID, then that's a fucking wrap for really humanity. I say hello to your AI overlords. Page 124. Once they progress to the beam phase, and they always do, it's important to remember to never panic and to just continue shielding. Adding more shielding is the answer. Work 12 hours a day on shielding if you have to, but never run away unless it's to a remote location to work on shielding. I really need some shielding. I have none. I literally have no shielding. I've been a TI for 5 years, and I've just been like barely surviving on whatever income I had from my fucking 13, 12-hour job, my 9 to 5s, whatever I have. It's never been enough to actually put away and actually get some shielding. I'm working on going to like a junkyard or something like that to see if there's anything available locally, but never know. Running the gauntlet of energy weapons without shielding in a full state of panic is exactly what they need and what they want. Rise above the situation and fight through the pain until you can put a temporary solution into place and fortify from there. Starting the shielding process now is highly recommended regardless of what others might think, and fuck what people think. This system will go will even go after your children and everybody you know as well. Just watch that 60 Minutes documentary we mentioned before and listen to the victims describe how the system even targeted their children at school. Once the wife or significant others or husband or whatever partner, those are my words, hears that and reads this book, they'll be baking you cookies as you work unless they've already been assimilated. And trust, it is some straight Matrix type, if you're not one of us, you're one of them type shit. It's easy to be assimilated. Everyone is a potential Agent Smith. Unfortunately, I've witnessed this on multiple accounts. In that case, you're on your own or on your way to an early grave. We're going to stop there. That's the end of chapter 4. And whenever I end up reading again next time, we'll start on different shielding strategies. I really want to kind of keep reading. How long is this next chapter? It's just about 20 pages long. No, I'm not in it this evening. But we'll get there. We're just about halfway with this book. Very close to Transhuman Genocide, Enemy at the Gates by Ron Johnson. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try to get the rest of the book out a little bit faster than what I've been doing. It's been 2 weeks since my last video, so there's just been a lot of shit going on. You know, this being a TI/TS is, it's not easy to be a TS, and being a TI is effortless. So, yeah. If you want like personal updates, check my TikTok. My TikTok should be up in my little thingy, like up there somewhere. I hope that pointed to the right area because I don't fucking know. Yeah, I do more like personal updates, situational updates on my TikTok page. Every now and then things like that get put onto my YouTube page, but not as often as it does with TikTok. So check out my TikTok. I think you can find it at the letter I, the number 3, period, underscore, period, DEL. That is my TikTok. Okay. All you TIs out there, stay strong, stay safe, get your shielding up. I'm working on mine too because I have 0 shielding. It is. Yeah, stay strong, stay up, stay frosty. And once again, that's peace up, A-town down, because I lived in Atlanta for some time, so that's what that means. Okay, bye.